And we are live here at Clockwork Games, Lorcana 1K here with 20 Lore Pro with the top four. They have decided to play it out. We are watching Maximus, who we saw earlier, piloting his Amber Ruby Mufasa aggro list, versus Kristopher, who we saw playing his Arthur Bounce Ruby Amethyst deck list. He won in the top 8, and he has returned now for the top 4. These two players, very excited to see both of them play against each other. We'll see if Maximus, with his more aggro-aggressive build of Amber Ruby Mufasa, will be able to take care of some of these pesky cards that we saw from Kristopher during the top 8. We know that he plays Maleficence, we know that he plays the Simba, and he's also playing the card Go the Distance. So we will see if Kristopher cannot go the distance today and win today's Clockwork Games Lorcana 1K. Maximus playing a turn 2 Mother Gothel. A great target, as we've seen in the past, for a Rapunzel. What a fitting card image for such a vile character in the series. We'll see what Kristopher can do here with turn 2, playing 2 1-drops, one of them being a Maleficent, the other a Pascal. Kristopher, knowing he's got to get in, decides to quest with the Chernobog's followers to draw a card. Kristopher deciding to pass after doing that. Maximus on his turn, going to 3, inks a Pongo, which we had seen earlier in today's tournament. Plays a Surfer Mini, able to challenge that evasive Pascal. Talked to Max a little bit before the match, saying that he really wished he was playing some Teeth and Ambitions just for this matchup, but is glad to have some Minnie Mouse Surfers able to take out some of these evasive characters. Kristopher playing a Madame Snake to rebounce the Maleficent and then replaying it. Opted not to quest with Pascal. You see these Madame Mim foxes and snakes in Kristopher's build really acting as a resetter for a lot of these low drop characters that Kristopher plays, making sure that they're out of range of any of Maximus's characters that may want to challenge into them. A second Pluto here from Maximus. These Plutos, of course, reducing the casting cost of these characters. Kristopher inking a Pascal. We see a goat in hand. Decides to quest with both Maleficent and the Snake. Going up to 6. Maximus is really presenting a powerful front here as Kristopher resets his Maleficent again with another Madame Mim, this time the Fox, passing it back to Maximus. Maximus really trying to get really as much control as he can to prevent Kristopher from wanting to quest. Uses a Maui to challenge here into the Madame Mim Snake. We'll see how Kristopher really responds to this wide board state that Maximus is presenting here. Makes it very hard for Kristopher to quest when your opponent has a lot of challenger characters on the board. Maximus going up to 6. Even using the Plutos to quest. Kristopher trades the Pascal into the Mother Gothel. Plays the Goat, going up to 7. Asking back to Maximus. We see that Madame M's Fox is really kind of low-hanging fruit there, able to be taken out by Maui. Probably a card that Maximus, or that Kristopher is okay at this point, letting go to a Maui, trading into him. Maximus doing just that. Maximus playing a Hades. Questing with his Surfer going up to 8. Really, this back and forth from Maximus and Kristopher seems to kind of not be the position that Kristopher wants to be in here. We'll see if Kristopher can utilize maybe some of his late game characters to take out and recontrol the board. Maximus having a great quester in this Minnie Mouse Surfer. Able to go unchallenged from Kristopher's side of the board as it has evasive. Kristopher playing a Merlin Rabbit. Able to draw. Decides to quest just with the Goat. Passing it back to Maximus. Maximus here really playing a pretty conservative game, trying to just present as wide of a board state as he can against Kristopher. Making sure that Kristopher doesn't go too far into gaining too many questers to really gain a lot of lore quickly. Reducing the cost of a character by 1, Kristopher plays a Maui, taking out the Goat. Taking Kristopher up to 9. And for 1, playing a third Pluto. We have seen from Maximus that he does play Chernobog. Having a lot of these Plutos along with some in the Banish Zone really means that a Chernobog can become a reality here soon. I don't believe Maximus has any cards in his hands at the moment. Kristopher seems to have quite a bit at 4. We see a Goat and a LeFou. Looks like he's trying to think about what he wants to play between the two. Maximus is at 11 now. Looks like Kristopher's going to opt in for the LeFou, taking out one of Maximus's Plutos with his Rabbit. There's the LeFou to re-ready that Maleficent Sorcerer and a Pinocchio. This Pinocchio representing 3 additional lore if it survives to his turn. Really a great move that I think a lot of aggro lists are trying to do at this point is re-ready their characters with the LeFou. You're really seeing just the ability to preserve characters while also presenting 5 lore here on the board between the Pinocchio and the Maleficent. If the rabbit is challenged and banished, at least Kristopher can then draw another card. And Maximus here with a great Madame Medusa, able to get rid of that Pinocchio. Madame Medusa, just a great draw for Maximus. Maximus with 1 card in hand. Trying to decide how he wants to deal with everything. Decides to quest. Going up to 14. And Kristopher pointing out to Maximus that Maui must challenge due to having the rush ability. I'm sorry, reckless ability. That allowed Kristopher to draw a card and take out Maui at the same time. Kristopher inking another Queen's Castle. Trades Hades into LeFou. Going up to 14 total. Shows another Pinocchio here. At a minimum, he's got 4 lore on the board between the goat and Pinocchio. This Pinocchio really being exactly what the card says, the star attraction so far. As Maximus has got to find a way to deal with this or get up to 20 himself. Maximus deciding to not quest and instead challenge the Maleficent Sorcerer. Great play there. That way Kristopher can't win the game next turn, hopefully without bouncing the goat. Maximus is 17. Not seeing a way out, knowing that Maximus has enough on board next turn. Kristopher shakes Maximus's hand. Congratulations, Maximus, for getting the win here for game 1 of the top 4 against Kristopher. What a great back and forth between the two, really seeing Kristopher trying to recover there, even presenting a lot of lore. Watching Maximus there try to go as wide as he possibly could, trying to prevent Kristopher from being able to cleanly quest with any of his characters. Maximus really doing a great job there, not even seeing a Mufasa that game, the namesake of the deck. What a great play from these two competitors. Well, we want to thank both Maximus and Kristopher for playing in today's tournament here at Clockwork Games in College Station in their Lorcana 1K. We're so thankful to be here with 20 Lore Pro as we travel around the state to show you the best in competitive Lorcana. If you missed any of today's rounds or aren't able to stay for this one, head on over to the 20lore.pro/YouTube where you can watch all of the rounds on our YouTube channel. Last week, we were at the Hunter Burton Memorial Lorcana Championship in Hurst, Texas. 20 Lore Pro had the honor of streaming and organizing that tournament for their charity event. If you missed that tournament and would like to watch it, we'll have it posted for you tomorrow on our YouTube. We want to thank our production team with Nexus in Waco, a esports center and TCG lounge where you can also find a great bite to eat. If you're ever in Waco, Texas, head on over to Nexus. We want to thank our sponsors who help us with our playmats, GFQ Underground. They're a custom printing company that will make any of your artwork and modify it for allowing it to be printed on playmats. head on over to GFQ Underground to check out their artwork and their playmats. We also want to thank our artists at Diamond Ink Apparel who designed the art for our Hunter Burton Memorial playmat. If you had a chance to see that playmat, they were really beautiful with the scene of Simba and his son looking up at the sky of Mufasa. We're going to have those posted in the video later on, and they were used in our feature matches. So we want to thank Diamond Ink Apparel. If you would like gaming gear for your t-shirts, head on over to Diamond Ink Apparel Etsy. And here we are into game 2 of the top 4, Maximus piloting Amber Ruby versus Kristopher piloting Amethyst Ruby. Very excited to see these two players compete here in game 2 here in the top 4. We see Maximus with a turn 1 Pluto. Really strong leadoff here for Maximus, trying to get some of his stronger characters out as early as he possibly can. Kristopher having a Pinocchio on his turn 2. One of the strongest questers in Kristopher's deck, if not the strongest. Maximus inking one of the Simbas. Maximus not too worried about Kristopher attempting to challenge into his characters. It did happen during the last game, but not so much worried about it right now. We'll see if Kristopher maybe has a LeFou or something like that to re-ready this Pinocchio. And here we see a Minnie Mouse Surfer on turn 2 from Maximus. A great turn 2 play, as I would say, being a 3-drop card. Able to really take out this Pinocchio if it's not re-readied or bounced by Kristopher. Kristopher does just that. He's able to use Madame M. Fox to bounce back the Pinocchio, saving it for another day and able to remove Maximus's Pinocchio. Here goes Maximus, thinking about his next play. Tough decisions here when you know that a Pinocchio is going to come down yet again. Decides to play a Mother Gothel, maybe setting up for a Rapunzel. We've seen it happen in the past by Maximus. If he's able to set up this Rapunzel play and really draw him a ton of cards, it could be a huge advantage for Maximus. Kristopher inking one of his LeFous. Plays a rabbit to draw some. You know, he's at least got the Pinocchio in play. Maybe looking for more ink to be able to double play during further turns. Maximus inking the Dock. A great quester in Max's deck. Maximus decides to use the Mother Gothel to challenge into Madame M. Fox, presenting another Mother Gothel, followed by a Simba. Again, Maximus not too worried as far as Kristopher's side of the board about challenging. We did see it there, however, from the Madame M. Fox. So that threat does exist, but Maximus not quite needing it due to having that evasive Minnie Mouse Surfer. Kristopher with 5 ink, some of the most we've seen this match. Plays a Chernobog's Followers and 2 Pinocchios. We see 8 lore on Kristopher's side of the board and the ability to draw 2 cards. One if the rabbit is banished, and the other if he's able to actually quest with this Chernobog's Followers, which is most likely the case. Maximus using his Mother Gothel to challenge into Rabbit. Plays a Hades, getting back Mother Gothel. Maximus here with the ability to gain 7 lore. Does just that. And he decides to not trigger the Chernobog's follower. Chernobog's follower being a May ability. See what Kristopher decides to do. Decided he didn't need the extra card though. He does decide, due to having no change in board state, to go ahead and make that decision and banish the Chernobog's followers after having a peek at his hand. Inks one of those go the distance for a Rabbit play into another 2-drop Simba. I say another, really it represents another Pinocchio, but just a character that can quest for 3. Simba challenging into one of those Pinocchios. Hades getting the other. Kristopher now at 12. It appears that he has 2 cards in his hand for Kristopher. There's that Mother Gothel we saw get returned by Hades, this time getting inked. And there's a Dock from Maximus, a big quester. Followed up by a Pluto. Kristopher going up to 15. I'm sorry, 16. Decides to protect the Simba, bouncing it back to hand and most likely replaying it. Taking out this troublesome bodyguard Simba and replaying the Simba. Kristopher with a follow-up play of Cusco. I haven't seen any Arthurs yet on Kristopher's side of the board. Maximus, seeing the writing in the sand, sees that Kristopher is at 16 and all of the cards on his board. Maximus gives Kristopher the handshake, and we are going to game 3 here in the top 4 of the Clockwork Games Lorcana 1K. A lot of game 3 matches here in the feature matches. Really great to see it, especially at this level of play here in the top 4 between Maximus and Kristopher. This time we really got to see Kristopher's list shine as he strategically played out his characters in a way in which he could quest and then save them in many circumstances. Congratulations to Kristopher on winning Game 2. Excited to see this top 4 go to Game 3 here, where it can really be anyone's game. I believe Maximus will be on the play, having lost Game 2. We want to thank both Maximus and Kristopher for volunteering to be on our feature match today here at Clockworks Games. I'm your announcer, SirAshtown. Behind the scenes, our producer, Luxac, and today's head judge for the tournament is our Discord founder of 20 Lore Pro, Stunning Rob. If you would like to support us and the team and you enjoy this type of content, feel free to follow here on Twitch and subscribe. We also have a Patreon with 20lore.pro/Patreon that we update weekly, where you can also support us in our endeavor to travel across Texas and bring you the best in competitive Lorcana. If you enjoy our content and you want to be a part of our community, head on over to 20lore.pro/discord, where we have just reached a milestone of 3,000 members in our 20lore pro Discord. We have tons of deck techs, deck lists, deck discussions, and a lot of Lorcana community banter. So head on over to 20lore.pro/discord to join the 20lore Lorcana community. I'm excited as we head here into Game 3. We've seen Maximus play at PPG Houston. We've seen him play at several 1Ks in the past. He is a member of the Lorcana Bros Lorcana team, and he's really been a player that has been traveling across Texas to prepare for the upcoming Lorcana challenges. This is our first time seeing Kristopher, but he has made big waves here as we enter here into Game 3 in the top 4. Maximus piloting Amber Ruby versus Kristopher piloting Amethyst Ruby. Turn ones from both of these players, one having a Pluto and the other a Chernobog's follower. Maximus with a turn 2 Mother Gothel. Again, a great Rapunzel target. We've seen it do it once. We'll see if he can do it again. Kristopher playing a Simba, turn 2. A strong quester. One of the best, next to Pinocchio. Maximus inking. Plays another Mother Gothel and another Pluto. Mother Gothel and Pluto represented on Maximus' side of the board. He now has the ability to make characters cost 2 less. Kristopher questing with that Simba, gaining 3. Follows it up with a LeFou to re-ready that Simba and another Maleficent. LeFou really helping out Kristopher here, making sure that his Simba is safe from any challenge. Maximus tapping out his Plutos and his ink. Casting a 5-drop Queen. This Queen can help reduce the cost of, or reduce the challenging ability of some characters while also increasing yours. Looks like Maximus did decide to quest with the 2 Mother Gothels, leaving them vulnerable to possibly the LeFou tacking into them. Kristopher thinking if he wants to take advantage of that or not. Deciding to quest for 3, going up to 6. Plays the Madame Mim Fox, bouncing back the Simba. So we have a good challenger to get into these Mother Gothels or possibly the Pluto, which is exactly what Kristopher does into the Pluto. Kristopher opting not to quest with the Chernobog's followers and instead getting rid of these Plutos. He only quested for 3 that turn, opting not to utilize his Maleficent yet. Doing just that, he passes over to Maximus. Maximus now only having the Queen and this Mother Gothel. Looks like he may have a Hades after looking at his banish pile. Can't quite see what's in Maximus's hand. Maximus deciding to take out the Madame M. Fox. Interestingly enough, he didn't want to quest with the Queen to then reduce the power of the Fox to get rid of it for free. May have been something that he... No, instead he decides to challenge the Chernobog's followers with the Queen, getting back Mother Gothel with Hades. Maximus opting to do the best he can to get rid of more characters off of Kristopher's side of the board, leaving Kristopher with just a Maleficent. This Maleficent sorcerer, though, really doing a lot for Kristopher this game. I'm sorry, Maleficent biding her time. She has been biding her time, hasn't quested quite yet. Looks like she's about to. I believe Kristopher still has the Simba in hand as well. Kristopher does play the Simba and is able to ready and protect Maleficent using the LeFou. Kristopher now up to 8 lore. Maximus only with 2. Is able to play his first Mufasa this match. We'll see if he is able to get a Mufasa flip during this match. Maybe he could always flip into a Chernobog's followers. A scary thought, as we know Maximus has it in his deck. Kristopher taking out the Queen with LeFou. Plays a goat, going up to 9. Passes it back. Maximus now at 5. He's got Mufasa and a Hades on the board. Trying to find some ways to deal with these pesky, low drop, high questing characters. Plays a Baloo. Baloo, a bodyguard. When it's banished, you gain 2 lore. Opts to not use it as a bodyguard. I'm back. We'll see if I'm not delayed. I was being told that my commentary was 5 seconds delayed from the Twitch live feed. Sometimes when we have the internet issues, as we did earlier, we can have difficulties watching the game via live. Wow, Kristopher up here now to 16. Maximus using this Madame Medusa to take out the... Ooh, he's thinking about Simba or Arthur. Opts for the Arthur. And that is the game here in top 4, Kristopher versus Maximus. Maximus taking the game with his Ruby Amethyst aggro list with Arthur. Congratulations to Kristopher here on qualifying for the finals and beating Maximus here in the top 4. Congratulations to you too, Maximus, for making it to the top 4 of today's tournament here at Clockwork Games in College Station. We want to thank both of these competitors today for competing in today's tournament, and for you, the viewers, for joining us over on Twitch. We want to thank y'all so much, and if you enjoyed all of our content and what we do here at 20 Lore, feel free to follow and subscribe here on Twitch and on our YouTube. We want to thank y'all so much here for coming out today, and for Clockwork Games for hosting today's Lorcana 1K. I'm your announcer, SirAshtown, here with 20 Lore Pro, and I will hopefully see y'all here in the finals. See y'all then. Hey, welcome to 20 Lore Pro. I'm your announcer, SirAshtown. We just want to thank y'all so much for coming here today to watch the Clockwork Lorcana 1K. The top 2 players, which were going to be Adrian and a Mufasa player, decided to split the finals. We want to thank everyone for coming out, and before we leave, we're going to go ahead and raid Zepha, who's live now and a member of the 20 Lore Pro Discord. If you haven't had a chance to go over to 20 Lore Pro Discord, go ahead and join. But we're going to head on over to Zepha, a great player and a wonderful Lorcana competitive deck creator. So here we go, going to raid Zepha.